All right, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, we have about 58 participants. Make sure you're letting your teammates know to get on the morning webinar. But I'd like to introduce someone to you that I've known for a few years now. Michael Huggins. Our speaker for today is none other than Mr. Michael Huggins. Now, I'd like to start by telling a quick story about Michael. So around the time when I first met Michael a few years ago, there was one particular night when I took him out to a dinner at this delightful Italian restaurant in downtown Salt Lake City. So we had just gotten to this restaurant and, we're chatting away and I'm picking his brain trying to acquire some golden nuggets of wisdom. And like an hour passes by without the waiter even showing up at our table. But soon enough, the waiter meekly walks over to us and says, "Hey, gentlemen, I'm so sorry, but our kitchen just closed." Now, we're sitting there completely dumbfounded with our mouths wide open. So finally, Michael was like, "What? We've been here for an hour and no one even came to take our order." So he continues to call the waiter out until the waiter finally hands us a special after-hours menu with just a few limited choices on it. Michael quickly glances over at the menu and says, "Yeah, I'd like to go with a pizza made out of macaroni and cheese and meatballs." The waiter was like, "Sir, we don't carry that item." So Michael asks, "Well, do you have pizza?" The waiter says, "Yes." "Do you have macaroni and cheese?" "Yes." "Do you have meatballs?" "Yes." So then, with a completely straight face, Michael says, "Perfect. Just cover the pizza in macaroni and cheese, sprinkle some slices of meatballs on there, and we're good." So now, of course, this was before Michael cut down on his meat consumption. But, he had asked for this order as if it was just a normal thing. So the waiter was like, "Sir, I'll have to go to the kitchen and see if we can even do that." So then, of course, he leaves. Now, at this point, I'm just sitting there cracking up, thinking this situation is impossible. And Michael looks over at me and is like, "Don't worry, Abby. He totally screwed up tonight and knows he has to make it up to us." So shortly after, this arrives. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you the one and only macaroni and cheese pizza with meatballs. This has been patented by Michael Huggins, so please make sure you pay your royalties. Just kidding. So anyway, the moral of the story is, if you don't ask for it, you won't get it. And that is exactly what Michael has done over the last 8 years with Renatus. He's asked for the order. He's asked for the follow-up. He's asked for macaroni and cheese pizza with meatballs, and boy, did he get it. As a seven-figure income earner, the number one income earner at Renatus, without further ado, I'd like to present to you my mentor, my friend, our speaker, Mr. Money, Michael Huggins. Michael, how are you doing today?
Good morning, everyone. Abby, you are awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. That was a fun night, and I'm glad you remembered. That was a blast. And that was like the first time we had hung out. We weren't really friends yet, we were kind of acquaintances. So that's cool, man. I'm glad you shared that with the nation. And hey, Renatus Nation, good thing you showed up to hear a badass story. Imagine if you decided, nah, I've been on these webinars before, I think I'm going to skip it. You would have missed out on that cool story. So remind people, show up, fortunes in the follow-up, and follow up with your team, follow up with your IMAs, follow up with your friends. That's also going to be a major key to you being successful in building a team and leading people. No IMA left behind. So let's get a few more folks on here. Today's the last day, pretty much. I guess we got one more day. It's pretty much the last day to renew your IMA agreement. Now, how many of you have IMAs on your team that need a little reminder, that need an extra push? Hey, today, last day is really tomorrow, but act like today's the last day. And just get your IMAs to do their renewals. It's going to be so worth it. In case you guys don't remember, if people don't renew their IMA agreement, they lose any progress, any status that they made towards their bucket or towards any qualifying sales. It doesn't affect their education. They're still going to be able to watch classes all day, take advantage of their coaching, their documents, everything like that. Their education is unaffected. It's their marketing that they need to maintain. Once a year, maintain that IMA status, and you can maintain your bucket status. But if you let it lapse, your bucket starts over regardless of what you've already purchased. So let's get people going. Like I said, no IMA left behind. Are you in it to win it? Let everybody know. Let's get it going. All right. Now I get to share my screen. Boop, 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 ba-doop, boop, boop, ba-doop, boop, boop. Sharing my screen. Okay, so I'm going to draw a few things out for you. Hopefully the iPad works this morning. I don't know why it wouldn't, but I got a PowerPoint for you. Whenever I get excited about training, I start sneezing. Is that weird or what? That's kind of weird. All right, so let's get into this. PowerPoint, share. Here we go. Booyah. Here we are, the law of modeling. All right, so we are going to be wrapping up the 15 invaluable laws of growth. I went and double checked. This is the last part of our series. So for those of you that are brand new and you stuck and this is your first time, congrats. Go back, watch the recordings. If you stuck with it to the end, your commitment and your consistency is going to pay off. You just watch. It's the law of modeling. It's hard to improve when you have no one but yourself to follow. Okay, does everyone see a picture of some ducks on the screen? Does everyone see a picture? Just want to make sure we're working. Good to go. Loud and clear. Visuals on point. Here we go. Okay, perfect. So, let's do this. All right, so I'm wondering, you guys can see the duck picture here right now. I'm wondering, do you guys know why birds fly in a V? Does anybody know why? Right? Not just geese, but ducks do it too. What's the point? Why do birds do it? Does anybody know? If you know, you could come off chat or just type it in the chat box. But why do birds?
It reduces drag.
What was that?
It reduces drag. So the one in the front's working the hardest, and the farther back they are, the easier it is, and then they rotate leaders.
Okay. So I got a couple people typing in so they can fly further. They take turns leading. Cuts down on drag. Okay, so it seems like people know why they fly in a V. Okay. So let me ask you this then. You've probably seen it before. The V has, one leg is longer than the other leg. You've seen a V like that before. Why is one side longer than the other side? Does anybody know? Why? Why is one side of the V longer than the other side? All right, I'll tell you. It's because there's more birds on one side. Oh, was that only funny to me? Oh, man. It's because there's more birds on one side. That's why the V is longer on one side. Oh, okay. Good morning, everyone. It's a dumb joke, Uilani. I'm sorry. It's it's not that funny. So, all right. Thanks for amusing me, guys. Thanks for having some fun this morning. I wanted to create a little space so that we could get some more IMAs on board and give you a chance to text your teammates and make sure they're included. And if your teammates did send you a reminder text or a call this morning to get you on the call, send them a thanks, man. They're thinking about you. That's awesome. All right, beautiful. So here we go. We're getting into it. Law of modeling. So following a leader. This is a phrase I want you to be using consistently when you're marketing, when you're working with new people that they're like, I don't know. Say, well, who are you following? Right? Have you heard of the law of modeling? Who are you modeling your business or your day or your week after? Who are you modeling your family time after? Who are you modeling your health plan after? Right? Modeling is incredibly important. So you're going to start using this phrase a lot more. Okay, a leader, that's a worthy example, is someone who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. I'm going to change the order of that. I like it, but I got a typo in here. A leader is someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. That's my knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. Now, why that's important is because when people are considering joining Renatus and joining your team, they need to know that you are a worthy example to follow. And if it's not necessarily you, then it is for sure Bob Snyder. Bob Snyder is someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. Too often, leaders and managers get mislabeled. So a leader is someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. A manager is someone who just perhaps knows the way and perhaps shows the way, but doesn't necessarily go the way. So Mr. Snyder is a real estate investor. He's debt-free. He's an entrepreneur. He gives back. He focuses on his family. So when you're thinking about what kind of business person do I want to be, well, he's someone that knows the way, evident by his own life. He shows the way. He's happy to share, lay out lessons, go over and above to make sure people understand. And then he goes the way. He's like, well, if you don't get it, just follow me. Just show up here. Just keep doing it. He goes the way. So that brings me to a different point I want to make. When people are needing to make a decision about buying, it's time to buy. It's time to make a decision. And if it's been delayed, I want to give you a quick little verbal technique that will help people make a better decision or make a decision. So let me switch over to my iPad real quick. Install updates later. Thanks for asking. Okay. Stop sharing here. Switching over. Oh, we got some people in the chat. Okay, sharing iPad. Here we go. Bing, bang, boom. Dun, 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 dun. Draw. Full screen. There we go. Yes, share. Yay, it's working. Okay, now this is why it matters in sales, not just to find a leader or a model to follow, but why does it matter in sales? Is something referred to as the 3 10s. 3 10s. What the heck are the 3 10s? Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, your customer needs to be at a 10 in 3 different categories in order to confidently buy with no refunds, no cancellations. 3 10s. I'm wondering if you guys know what the 3 10s are, what categories, what peace of mind do they need to check off in their mind saying, all right, this is done, this is done, this is done, I'm in. What are the 3 main things that people are looking at that they got to be a 10 at in order to buy? Well, the first one, I'll give you guys a chance to answer. All right, so product, company, and you. Jose Andres, he got it correct. So it is the product or the service, right? The thing we're selling. They need to believe in that. They also need to believe in the company. If they fully believe in the company but not the product, they'll never buy. They fully believe in the product but not the company, they'll never buy. And then the third thing is you. You. So if they believe in the product and they believe in the company, but they don't believe in you, still not gonna buy, right? Because we're the salespeople. That's how our company structure is. There's no retail checkout stand where customers are just talking to a transaction coordinator. They're talking to salespeople. In sales, these things have to happen. And think about it from your own experience. Would you buy something? Let's say someone's trying to pitch you car insurance, but you don't like that person, but maybe you like the company and the insurance policy itself. You're still not going to buy. But maybe you like the agent and you like the company, but the policy he wrote for you is crap. Again, you're not going to buy. So it has to be in all 3 places, 10s in all 3. Okay. Jeff, I like where you're going with the will it work? Will it work for me? Will I do it? Those are 3 things we also need to check off with the customer's experience, that we've answered those in their head. But for their belief in something, it needs to be at a 10 on these 3 things. So here's the thing. You can, inside of the week, let's say you get someone to come to the first exposure, right, the 4 pillars, then they come to the follow-up, and then they come to like a Super Saturday or something like that. Boom, 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 in 1 week, 1, 2, 3. Well, guess what? They're right at a 10 on the company and the product. You could tell because they kept showing up that that's where they're at. And now you go and ask for the sale. But maybe they're only at 5 on you. Maybe they haven't spent enough time with you. Maybe you were late. Maybe whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is they're not at a 10. Now you've asked for the sale, right? That's what we do. After we ask for the sale. And if we get a no, we just have to loop back. We're constantly looping, okay? Until we get our yes, and then a yes means an OEP, order entry party. Okay, so if we continue to get this no answer, then what we would do in our loop is we would come back and we would touch on each thing. We would touch again on the product. Hey, just as a reminder, we're an award-winning education services. It's a lifetime membership. It's the best bang for your buck. Blah, 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 blah. Product, accolades. In 5-10 seconds, just build up the product again in case, over the weekend or whatever, they dropped a little bit. Each day that goes by drops a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. So when you go to ask for the order, you might need to rebuild up each category. So then you talk about the company, right? A+ rating with the BBB. It's a debt-free company. World-class customer service. You get, 5-star rating from this, that, and the other. All these other third-party people looking at us. Company is incredible. It's a debt-free company. We're in the Inc. 5000, fastest growing. Build up the company. 10, 15, 20 seconds. Just build it up. And then with you, some of you are like, what do I say about me? I'm brand new, or I haven't this, I haven't that. Well, you got to build yourself up anyway. And people understand if you've only been in for a month, obviously you're not going to have 200 properties. They get that. But they still need to see that you are a 10, or they need to believe in their mind that you're a 10. So one of the easiest things to do is use phrases like the one from the slide. Hey, listen, I'm not a manager. I'm a leader. I'm someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. In fact, the whole company is built that way, from the top down, Mr. Snyder. So he's doing it, I'm doing it. I'm a fantastic student. I take a lot of action, and I got your back. I'll answer your phone call at 5 in the morning or 10 at night. It doesn't matter. And they start to see you at a 10. You say, all right, are you in? Let's do this. You ask for the order when they're out at 10s in these 3 categories, and boom. A lot of times if you're doing it at the event and you get a customer to come to 3 events in a week, the events themselves will get the 10s in these 3 categories. But if not, you got to do it over the phone, over webinar, face-to-face, do your 3-way calls with whoever. Okay, that's another way to build you, is do a 3-way call with somebody, and they will build you. You build them, and then your customer hears that you were built by someone, right? Edified, and now in their head you're going up to a 10. But that phrase, someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way, is huge. So help people with that. Use it often. Look for it. Right? Some of you still have jobs and stuff in your life. Well, talk to your manager. If you don't like how things are being run, you could say things like, you know what? There's a lack of integrity here. We got people who know the way. We got people who point and they show the way and they say, do this, do that, but they don't go the way. They don't. And so we got a problem. Okay? You got to have leaders and models that know the way, show the way, and go the way. Not just talk, but they do the walk. Is this making sense? You see the importance of this now? Cool. Cool. All right, well, if you're just joining us, welcome. Jose Andres from the California team just solved my riddle. And it's a beautiful thing. Turn it into a lesson. So keep showing up. You're half an hour late, but you're here. So we're glad you're here. All right, stay focused. Let's switch back now. We're going to go back to the PowerPoint. So a few more things to show you. All right, so we talked about law of modeling. Okay, a worthy example, someone who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. Are they available? Well, you got to recognize your value in the model that you are for the new customer coming in, right? There's this thing called the law of growth, and in that's a law of modeling. And so your customers need a model. So are you available? Do you have proven experience? Do you possess wisdom? And are you here to make a difference? In any capacity, you don't have to, memorize the wisdom of the ages, but if you have some wise things to say every once in a while, it's going to help you a ton. So people are looking for models, so they're going to look at you, but then if you're looking for a model, look at Bob Snyder. Is he available? Yes. Does he have proven experience? Yes. Wisdom? Yes. Does he make a difference? Yes. Let's follow him. That's the law of model. Okay? And to grow, you get a coach. Now a lot of you are incredibly lucky with the 5-star that you have. I got so lucky with the 5-star I got and how much she cared about me as just her new student, right? She didn't know me from anybody. I just answered an ad. But she had a coach mentality. She was committed to the process. She loved the company. And just the way she talked about the people and the company and the product and herself, I just started recruiting like crazy. So some people that aren't recruiting, maybe they justified they love the company, they love the product, but they don't like you. Then it's time to adjust. It's time to think, what can I change? What can I do differently to be more attractive so people want to introduce me to their warm market? Those are the easiest sales. So with your coach, see, some of you have scared off your coach, or you're scared off your 5-star or your enroller because you didn't like the kinds of questions they were asking. See, coaches ask all kinds of questions, right? Limiting belief questions, all kinds of questions, assumption questions, right? Exploratory questions, awareness questions. And so some people get a little bugged by the questions and then they stop answering the phone. You need a coach. You need to answer these questions. You need to be engaged. And also, as you're trying to demonstrate to your prospects and to your clients that you're someone they should be working with, you ask them tough questions even before they enroll. Treat them like they've enrolled. Start asking them questions, start coaching them, start helping them with their life, teaching them a few things here and there, some wisdom. And then they'll see, wow, this person knows what they're saying. Then you can say, now go to this meeting on Wednesday, or go to this meeting on Thursday, or go to this meeting on Saturday. Now you got a track record, but it's because you asked questions to help them uncover something. So in you're working with your 5-star, maybe you're working with the corporate coach, or you're working with just your area leader. One of the keys is being held accountable. Accountable is different for a lot of people. Everyone's trying to accomplish different things, kind of in the same arena, but different things nonetheless. So being held accountable, being called out on the spot, is something you've got to be grateful for. When someone says, how many leads did you call this week? Don't make up numbers. Don't tell a story. Just say the real number. Someone's holding you accountable. If you keep avoiding questions that are going to help your business, do you think that coach who's not getting paid to coach you wants to keep talking to you, wants to keep working with you? No, so stay coachable. But also, I'm telling you as an IMA trying to use this principle to make sales, if they're getting annoyed by your questions, who cares? You need to get paid. So you keep asking these questions, you keep holding them accountable, right? They said they were going to do real estate and they were going to call you in 6 months. Well, call them back and hold them accountable. Hey, you said you were going to do this or join my team. Well, did you do it? No, then join my team. Let's go. Holding people accountable. So hold your customers accountable, hold your IMAs accountable, and be held accountable in this coaching environment. You're going to see a lot of things change. And then we're just constantly looking for the next challenge. Challenges are welcome here. We don't have problems. We got challenges. All right. Now, next law is the law of expansion. The law of expansion. Growth always increases your capacity. So what do I mean by that? What do you mean capacity? Well, let's jump into it. So first, we're constantly trying to push the edges, push them out. Find the edges, push them out. Find the edges, push them out. What are you capable of? Find the edges and push them out. That's kind of the law of expansion theme song. Find the edges, push them out. What do we need? What do we need boundaries for? Let's keep expanding. So there's some different ideas I want to share with you on expansion. So first is a lot of people need to change the way they think. So when Vanessa and I were looking at what we're going to produce in 2019, we had to change the way we were thinking because we wanted more money, but we didn't want to do more work. So stop thinking more work, start thinking what works. Okay, capacity is not about more, it starts with better. That's what we're here to do, is improve, improve, improve. If we just keep stacking on more, pretty soon you're back to a crazy job schedule with no free time. So it's not about that. It's about what works. Start thinking what works, what works, what works. Okay, and in constantly pushing the edges and expanding, instead of thinking, can I, start thinking, how can I? Because when you say, how can I, you've given yourself permission to do it, and now we're figuring out the steps. Whereas when you think, can I, you still haven't given yourself permission. And a lot of times our subconscious mind just needs permission. So give yourself permission by saying and thinking, how can I? By the way, self-limiting statements always work. Is that a crazy way to think? Right, Les Brown says, hey, if you defend your limits, you get to keep them. John Maxwell says, self-limiting statements always work. So think about this. How many times have you talked to an IMA or a guest at your office or at your events or whatever, and they just say, oh, crap, I'm no good with names. Well, if you want to be looked at as the wise person, right, in that moment, you could say, hey, you know what? Self-limiting statements always work. Just put on a little smile, look at them. And go, what? You're trying to create a space in an arena where people don't engage in self-limiting beliefs and self-limiting statements. That's what we do here at Renatus, right? So when you say that to your customer, to your client, to your guest, your prospect, right, and they're like, oh, I can't remember names, or I can't do this, or I'm no good at math, right? How many people say that after watching the velocity banking portion of the workshop, right? And they're like, oh man, I would love to do that, but I'm no good with math. And you say, hey, you know what? Self-limiting statements always work. And you go, what the hell? What do you mean? You say, well, if you keep saying you're no good at math, or you keep saying I don't get it, that's a limit that you've created. It's self-limiting. If I can get it, you can get it. That's the case. If I can remember names, you can remember names. If someone can, you can. So if you create a limit, that's you. No one here is saying you can't. You're saying I can't. That's self-limiting. That shit's not allowed here. Or you'd say that's not allowed here. So why don't you try something else? You want to rephrase that? And we're trying to give people a space to work, to rephrase, to expand. No self-limiting statements. So call them out. People will respect that. In the moment, there's maybe a little tension, right? Maybe you just barely met your guest. This happens to me all the time. I don't meet my guests until after the meeting because I'm the presenter. I'm getting stuff ready at the beginning. Sometimes I don't get to meet them. So the first thing, hey, Michael, what'd you like best? Oh, man, that velocity banking thing was awesome, but I'm just no good at math. And I look them in the face, say, hey, don't talk about yourself like that. Self-limiting statements always work. And they're just going to sit up or stand up a little bit straighter. Whoa, who is this person? You want to be so attractive that people can't ignore you. When they go home, they go, that guy, that gal, what they asked me, it's got my mind spinning. This is crazy. I better go back. Yeah, they told me to go back tomorrow. I think I'll go back tomorrow. They're real. They said stuff to me. They weren't cookie cutters. They weren't just salespeople. They were saying real stuff. How do you want to be perceived? Right? If someone comes up and says, I'm no good at math, and you go, that's okay, stay stupid. They're not going to want to work with you. So they say, I'm no good at math. You say, you know what? It's all good. We're going to help you with your math. But stop saying what you're no good at. In our environment, we talk about what we're good at and what we're working on. That's how life expands. So, start telling people you're getting better at math. How about that? I'm getting better at math instead of I'm no good at math. Do you know why? Because self-limiting statements always work. And they're going to go, damn, that's some wisdom. Okay? Is this making sense? Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down here? It's not a lot of things. It's just a few well-timed things. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. That's right. We can just use calculators. All right, cool. I'm glad you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. Okay, the next thing is stop thinking one door, start thinking many doors. It's not just one option. Okay, inside Renatus, some people are going to go, well, I can either do Renatus or I can go back to school or I can just try to pick up more hours. What do I do? I can only do one. No. Do them all. Think many doors. Think many layers. How do you think Fortune 500 CEOs think? How do you think, these freaking Fortune builder or like Forbes 400 CEOs think? They think multiple doors. They think constantly opening doors and windows. When one door shuts, 500 doors open. Okay? Start thinking many doors. All right, cool. Next. All right, now, so that was increasing our capacity for thinking. Now this is increasing our capacity for action. So in the action world, let's talk about that. Stop doing what you've done. Leave your comfort zone. The comfort zone is likened to a cave. If you stay inside the cave, the danger of staying inside the cave is you will eventually start to think that the shadows are real. Dun, dun, dun. You've now tricked yourself. You've spent so long inside your comfort zone, you think the shadows on the wall made by the campfire are real people, or real monsters, or real whatever. Because you have this small-ass world, and that's what our brains do. They think this is it, this is the world, it must be real. Leave your comfort zone, and you'll see what a fake world you were in, what a small kind of thinking that world kept you in. So leave your comfort zone. If it's time to make phone calls, do it. If it's time to present at Super Saturday, do it. If it's time to do an intro or whatever, if it's time to make your own webinars, get out of your comfort zone and do it. If it's time to do Facebook Live videos to attract you more market, do it. What good is your comfort zone? You should hate your comfort zone. You should generate disdain and aberration for your stupid comfort zone. What has it done for you except coddle your ego? And your ego doesn't help you, just tells you all this bullshit. So get out of your comfort zone. Making mistakes is a sign that you're actually doing something. So too often we stay inside the comfort zone because we don't want to be judged for a mistake. But guess what? People who judge on mistakes are people who aren't doing anything, so their opinion doesn't matter. When people see that you're doing mistakes, they know you're outside your comfort zone, and they recognize you're taking action. And the people that matter, the people you want to do business with, the people you want to influence, they don't care about mistakes because they know that mistakes are a sign of out of your comfort zone. You're doing stuff, you're trying, you're after it. That's what matters. That's what's attractive. It's not that you have a clean track record. A clean track record means you didn't try, which means you're boring, which means why should I work with you? That's what our customers think. So leave your comfort zone. Try some stuff. Increase your capacity for action by continuing to push the edges. Okay, now I heard that all the government workers are now back to work doing their thing. Okay. A long time ago, I came across a phrase. Tell me how accurate this is, or if this is still a thing. When people say, good enough for government work. Right? They're thinking about their project or their task, the thing they need to finish. And they kind of half-ass it, and then they say, well, good enough for government work. Is that a thing? Or, has anyone ever heard that? Well, the reason to bring that up is because a lot of people with the employee mentality think enough is enough. Like, hey, I'm paid to do this 8 hours, or I'm paid to do this exact thing. And so since it's enough, it's enough. Well, that kind of mindset is not attractive. It's not pushing edges. It's not creating business. It's not something people want to work with. Yeah, okay, so that phrase, good enough for government work, is seeped into society. We got to stay the hell away from that. Okay, so in your volunteer role at Renatus, don't do just enough. Maybe you're not a volunteer, but you're creating ads. Don't do just enough in your ad to get leads. Do more than expected. Try harder. Same thing with your real estate assignments, right? Like if you do just enough, you're in the study group for the 10 weeks and you're doing just enough. You're just doing the class, just enough. What do you think is going to happen? You think people are going to be like, you know what? That guy, he does just enough to get by. I'm going to join his team. That'll never happen. Okay? Unless they really, really, really love the products and they'll get in. I mean, guys, doing just enough is the old way, right? K through 12 got us into the doing just enough. That's 13 years of brainwashing that just enough is okay. And then, participant trophies and all that stupid stuff. No, doesn't work like that. The economy is not going to reward you for just showing up. You got to be spectacular. You got to be out of your comfort zone. You got to be sharing wisdom. You got to be asking effective questions. You got to be knowing the way, showing the way, and going the way. Yeah, it's a sad mentality we got to stay away from. Doing more than expected. That is attractive. That's why I was able to introduce this stranger who I met from a newspaper ad to my girlfriend's mom, right? I'm living in her basement, doing my best, answered this weird ad, met these weird people who are talking business. They want money from me, and now I got to go find the money, and it's a girlfriend's mom thing. That's a weird position. But here's what happened. The recruiter didn't do just enough. She did more than expected. She stayed until midnight to help me understand. I had questions. Sometimes it took me 10 minutes to think of a question because it's just so weird to me. But I would sit there and it would be silence, and she would just be patient and wait and let me ask my question, answer it until I understood it, and then give me another space for another question. She was doing more than expected. So then when I went back as this newbie, right, 4 hours after the meeting, I'm like, guys, you got to meet this person. Because she was so unique in the world of people, 99 of them were doing just enough, and she was doing more than expected. So when I was like, come and meet her, she's doing more than expected, it was an easy invitation for Geraldine to hear it because, again, in the world, most people do just enough. So doing more than expected is like, wait a minute, I want to meet someone like this. So it was easy for me to introduce my family to a stranger that's asking us for a lot of money. Now, how many of you have sat down with a prospect and went, look, you can find the money. Go find it. You could do it. Go get it. And then you come back to your 5-star and you say, yep, I told them they could find the money. I know they could do it. I encouraged them. I'm going to check back in with them in a week. Well, then think about this brand new newbie person goes to their family and says, all right, well, I met a stranger. He's asking for a lot of money. It's going to fall flat. That kind of invitation doesn't work if you're doing just enough. But because she did more than expected, I was able to translate that enthusiasm to create action so that I could get my fun and get my combo. And look what happened. And Jody wasn't thinking, right, like, I'm going to make this guy into a superstar. He's going to be the next whatever. She was just thinking, here's a guy that's struggling. Our system works. I know we can help him. And she's just doing her thing. In her mind, it's just always do more than expected. And the universe rewarded her for that. So stop doing just enough. Do more than expected. And this last bullet point I really like. Do important things all the time. Do important things all the time. Yeah, so Henry just put in here, good enough is the death of greatness. Yeah, it's a crazy way of thinking. So stay out of it. We're here to create greatness and attract greatness. So I was able to go tell Geraldine that you got to meet this great person. This is incredible. Right? You got to give a reason for your guests to introduce their family to you if they don't have the money, but you know their family does. Got to give them a reason, and good enough, not cutting it. Go get a job. Jobs, they pay you for good enough. In the economy, in business, in sales, in the entrepreneur world, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Good enough doesn't even get you minimum wage. It's a dangerous way to think. So some of you have been in that mindset for more than a decade because you had your K through 12. Now you had this job that's been messing with your head. You need to distance yourself from that thinking. Do not bring that into your business, or else you're going to suffer. You're going to struggle, and you're going to be like, what the hell? I'm a hard worker. I show up every time. I volunteer. I'm this and that. I come early. I stay late. I never miss a meeting. I'm constantly talking to other people's guests. I'm helping. But you're just doing enough in your business. No one wants to work with you. Do more than expected, and people will bend over backwards. They'll call people they never even thought of calling to ask for money in order to work with you if you do more than expected. Do important things all the time. All right, maximum capacity is unlimited. Don't even think about limits and comfort zones and edges. We're constantly expanding, constantly pushing that, okay? So now we've talked about expanding your capacity for thinking, expanding your capacity for action. Now we're going to expand our capacity for impact. We want to be able to impact people. So what are we capable of? So to be clear, capacity is not a measure of how much you can hold. In fact, it's how much you can give. Not how much you can take, but how much you can give away, right? Too often people think my capacity is I can do X number of presentations or this many phone calls or this many ads. But we want to be thinking about capacity in what you give, how many ideas you're giving, the time you're giving. Now, don't give away time to broke people who aren't going to pay you. That's not smart. Okay, in business. Now, there are times where you're going to give away your time just because that's the time to give it away, and you're not doing it for money. You're not doing it for economics. But when you are in economics mode, giving away, you got to give to people who can recognize it and then buy from you. Okay? So think about that. How much are you giving? What's your capacity? So Scott Rowe's capacity, we think, oh, he's got 5,000 whatever IMAs, and we think capacity as in his ability to earn. But what is his capacity and his ability to give? Right? He gives every day of the week. He gives in all across the country. He gives this side of the country, that side of the country, the top of the country, the bottom of the country. So his capacity, when we're looking at it, is what's he giving? So what are you giving? What's your capacity? If you want to impact more people, think about what you're giving. Giving good ideas, giving encouragement, giving positive energy, giving accountability, right? Giving good questions. All right. So now in thinking about that, here's a few more questions. What is your impact now, and what would you like your impact to be? Right? What are you doing? Are you, like, think about that. You go and spend some time, make ads, people call in. And no one ever shows up, no one ever buys from you. You do this week after week, month after month. What is your impact? Are you having an impact on people? No, you're just talking on the phone. What would you like your impact to be? Okay. Here's what's attractive about impact and what we're doing is when you talk about the impact we're creating, people want to get behind it. Some people are here for money, other people are here for a cause. So talk about the impact we're having on society as far as responsibility goes. What about our impact we're having on society with stopping, doing the Underground Railroad stuff and stopping what's going on with kids? It's freaking crazy. But we're having an impact, right? It's more than just money. So that's what Renatus is doing for their impact. But what about you? You set up a company, right? With either you or you and your spouse or you and your kids. You set up a company. What impact is that company having on society and the economy? It's about impact, right? So think about this. There is nothing in your past that must determine your future. When people mistakenly understand that, they've misidentified with their imagination. It's just your imagination. It's not real. Okay, your past doesn't dictate your future. And oh boy, isn't that good news? For some of us, that is like the best news ever. Nothing in your past determines your future. Woo! Thank God. I can distance myself from my past. It has nothing to do with my future. So that's good news. You need to be sharing that with your IMAs or with your prospects, with your leads. Sometimes they say things like, oh, well, I've never done that. You say, whoa, 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 whoa. There is nothing in your past that determines your future. You're going to go, damn, that's wise. I need to be around you more. Thank you for helping me get rid of limits. Okay? People need to hear that stuff. So constantly remind them. People need more reminders than they need some teaching. That's some great news. Okay, now the last one, and we're going to wrap this whole lesson up. The Lob Contribution. This is where we're at. This is what we get to do inside the Renata structures. We can contribute to people's lives in an extraordinary way. So growing yourself enables you to grow others. Here's what I mean by that. When you grow, you're inspiring others to grow. Now, as you grow, there's this whole mentality around give people a hand up, not a hand out. No, not a hand out. That creates weakness. But a hand up creates strength. That's our contribution back to society, is bringing more people who have woken up to the understanding that they can create their own economy. Give them a hand up. Next person, next person, next person. Constantly doing that. We're adding value to other people's lives. Okay, this is, sometimes people say, what do you do? I say, I add value to other people's lives through real estate investing, business coaching. I add value to other people's lives. You've got to tell people you're doing that. So here's something. You cannot give what you do not have. So you have to have a wealth consciousness to get it or to give it. You got to have a leadership attitude. That's why we've been doing this training the last couple of weeks. You can give away wisdom. You can give away attitude. You can give away experiences. So here's a couple questions. Ask yourself, what good shall I do today? When you wake up in the morning, you're brushing your teeth. Oh, yeah, stretch, mouthwash. Okay. What good shall I do today? That's a good question. That's going to shape your behavior to such a way that people can't help but be attracted to you. Then when you go to bed, think, what good have I done today? And the key is to be a reservoir, or not to be a reservoir, but to be a river. Allow the value you're receiving to continue to flow. Don't store it up. It's not how it works. Be a river of value. Ideas, energy, thoughts, emotions, concepts, ideas, right? We got this constantly giving. We're giving our time. We're giving good examples of how to be. So much giving. That's a contribution. Okay, so here is a couple of questions when seeking a mentor. We want mentors because we want to be able to add value to such a higher extent. And also, you could also okay, so here's something. When my customer pays and signs, and then they have 7 days to try it out before they cancel, I want to schedule a coaching call in the middle of that 7 days and start to teach them some things about coaching, mentoring, leadership, entrepreneurship, visualization, something. So I'm going to say, all right, you're going to watch this for a couple days, and we're going to schedule just a quick half-hour call. I'm going to make sure that you're trying on your new mindset and just give you a few shortcuts, some things I've learned along the way. So then when I get on the phone with them, it could be something like this. Hey, I want to give you some questions that you can start asking about looking for more mentors, because I don't have to be your only mentor. You got mentors all over Renatus. So you ready? Write these questions down. And I coach them through just how to ask questions. And touching them one time in that 7 days is huge, right? But if you don't, chance for a cancel. So here's some questions. Take a screenshot, and then you can start asking them, who mentors you and offers you a baseline of wisdom? Do you have a mentor? Okay, ask them, who mentors them? Who mentors you to aspire to be a better person? Who challenges you to think? Who cheers you on your dreams? Who cares enough to rebuke you? Right? I will rebuke all of you because I care. I mean, in order to rebuke, you have to listen. Remember what Tom was talking about yesterday? Not just hearing, but listening. In order to rebuke, you have to listen. So I'm listening to you, and if you need a rebuttal, here it comes. Okay, who's merciful when you have failed? Who has shared the load in pressurized moments without being asked? Who brings fun and laughter into your life? Who gives you perspective when you become dispirited? Asking these kinds of questions to your new Renatus community members, starting to learn more about what it's like to be mentored, you're going to learn a lot. You'll also get to be connected to more of your Renatus community members. So welcome to the team. Congrats. And I just, wrap up the call like that. But now they're seeing me more, adding value to them, teaching them how to ask questions, that kind of stuff. So use this. Take a screenshot. Call people. Maybe you need to do something like this to get them to enter their order. Sometimes you got to give more value before people will take that step of entering their order and paying for it. So you can say, yeah, you know what? We're going to do a coaching call, and at the end of this, we'll decide what direction we want to go. Let me teach you some questions. Boom, boom, boom. Go through it. Talk about why these questions are important, right? And being mentored, being coached, what's that like? And at the end, ask for the sale. Hey, you know what? Let's do this right now. You're coachable. I know you're going to be successful. I got your back. Let's do this. What's your credit card number? Spend 5 minutes, put their order in. But maybe you had to put all this value on up front. Okay? So that's what we're doing. We're here to add value. Add value, add value, add value. Now you got to ask these questions on yourself. Who will you mentor and offer a baseline of wisdom? Who will you mentor to aspire to be a better person? Who will you challenge to think a different way? Who are you going to cheer on their dreams? And who are you going to care enough to rebuke? This is you sitting down. I swear, if you just sit down and write this, answer these questions, you'll make a nice little list of people. You start calling them. You start showing them that you want to mentor them. You want to help them. It doesn't matter if they called an ad and they're a stranger or they're a friend of 10 years. When you start to do these questioning techniques and these coaching methods, they're just going to be blown away. So we're going to end on this. Then we're going to get at it for Wealth Wednesday. So to grow, give to grow, grow to give. What that means is put people first. What that means is keep growing and keep giving. What that means is answer your phone when your 5-star calls. What that means is call out to your 5-star and engage in a relationship. What else that means is changing your definition of success to sowing instead of reaping. Hey, I'm successful because I sow. I'm successful because I reap. And you can be successful today instead of waiting a year, 2, 3 years from now to feel successful. So be grateful and put people first. That's the laws of invaluable growth. The 15 invaluable laws of growth. That's us. That's what we do. So get out there, go impact people. Okay, we're in this growth mode. Plenty of people need to hear it from you. You're the valuable person. Go ask for the order. Go make some money. Impact some people. Give some of that money away. If you need a good cause, hit up Nate Lambert. He's building wells in Cambodia, $350. Builds a well for like 100 people. So hit him up. You guys are awesome. Okay, I'm going to go back. Dustin, you're so lucky. I'm going back. Screenshot. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. There's your screenshot. Okay. There you go. All right, guys. Have a fantastic Wealth Wednesday. Get after it. It's the only one you got. Use it wisely. Talk to you guys soon.